Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope that you guys are having a great day wherever you may be in this crazy, crazy world. Oh, wow. So, just to catch you up with me a little bit, last we spoke, I was going through my wisdom teeth situation, and you could probably tell I'm like still swollen. But it's coming. This side seems to be troubling me more than this side. But it's coming. I kind of had a freak out this morning, kind of had a freak out yesterday because the pain over here was a little bit much. But I'm trying to like get a grip on myself and just like shake myself and just, catch a grip, girl. Like, it's gonna be okay. I had a sub today, well, a sandwich, half of it, and I was biting little pieces of it, and that worked. And just try not to be scared to eat, I guess, is more so the situation that I'm having. And but it's a process. I think it's like day 5 now, and I'm just really ready to get back to normal and just be done with this completely. I will never, ever, ever have to do this again, thank God, and I don't wish this on my worst effing enemy, especially not being awake. I don't know what's going on with my dentist office that they don't offer that. Like, they were like, oh, you have to go to an oral surgeon or this, that, and the other. And they put me on that laughing gas and just numbed my ass up and were yanking teeth out of my mouth. Like, insane. And my mom was there watching the whole thing. I'm sure that was kind of traumatic for her. Like, ugh, gosh. Anyway. So, of course, I'm always on my timeline. Why not? I have nothing else to do with myself. So I'm going down my timeline, and I did see that the Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell trial has started. And if you don't know what that is, man, it's been going on for a minute. I think this happened back in 2020, and it's been like 3 years trying to get this all going because they were trying to see if she was competent enough to stand trial and all that. But essentially, this woman hooked up with this man. They're over in Ohio, was jumping from Iowa to Rexburg, Ohio, to Hawaii, bouncing back and forth. They were in Arizona. They were in all these places, doing this mess where it comes to a sect of, I guess, the LDS church. And this guy, Chad Daybell, and Lori Vallow Daybell, because they got married, once they got into cahoots with each other, they instantly started playing off each other on this insane theory that they were the chosen ones to kind of bring together the preparing of the people. I think 144,000 people that were chosen to go and start the new world after the world ends and everything like that. And they thought that the world was going to end, I believe, back in 2020, which obviously we're still here shooting the shit, shooting the breeze, and nothing has changed. So she's sitting in jail now because within this whole cahootment, her and Chad have ruined and pretty much murdered multiple people, including their children and wife. Chad was involved in the murdering of his wife, Tammy. Lori was involved in the murdering of her children, Tylee and JJ. And an ex-husband, her brother, who assisted in all of the foolishness. Just a lot of people whose lives are ruined. And now the people who have survived this are now having to go through this trial. And Lori is sitting up in court like her shit doesn't stink. It's the strangest thing. And these trials really, like, I gravitate to them so much, like, Jodi Arias and everything like that, because the mind has always amazed me. Like, it's so, like, our mind protects us from so much trauma and like, it can completely black out parts of your life that, that is true traumatic for us to deal with on a day-to-day basis to live our lives. And it just really amazes me, and it's so interesting, and I know there's probably a better word for it, like how a person gets to the point of doing something like murdering another human being, and in the most vicious of ways. And in Lori's case, she murdered her own children. Now, I don't think she physically did the murdering. I pretty much think that was Alex, her brother, and Chad, her now husband. But she was involved and she was okay with it and okayed it because she felt that they were zombies and because they were dark beings. You guys, it's the story. If you have not heard of Lori and Chad Daybell, the Vallows, it is a trial that it's very, very sad, but the human brain is amazing in the most terrifying ways. Like, and you can't even, like, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, like she has a malfunction, because obviously she's been found competent to go to trial. She knows what she was doing. It's not like she was, not in her right mind. She knew what the fuck she was doing. She knew very well what she was doing. She knew what she was doing was wrong. But how do you get so brainwashed by this man, Chad Daybell, to the point where you will kill your children? And just hearing how it was done, how the children were found, and hearing, because now they're in the trial, the detectives, literally tell us how each child was found in the state that they were found in. Tylee got the brunt of it. And apparently she was the first, and it was trial and error, and it's so sad. And I'm not going to talk about how it was done. If you want to hear that, like, you can definitely go and find that. But they were her children, and she let these people do that to her and her children. And it's kind of, and then listening to the friends that they had that were also, because this was a group, okay? It was LDS, but not LDS. They were doing their own shenanigans over there. It was kind of cultish, as Chad at the lead, being this cult leader, the prophet or whatever, and they're all following him, and Lori is like his right side woman instead of right side man. And they thought that they were running this shit. They thought that the world was going to end. They're preparing all these people so that they can rule or be the chosen people once everything goes down. And they took everybody out that they loved. He literally murdered his own wife and got married to Lori. Weeks after, Lori had purchased a ring for said wedding prior to Tammy, Chad's wife, even having passed. Like, it was all premeditated and planned. They were doing these things called castings that were pretty much trying to banish spirits out of their loved ones who they deemed as dark, who really obviously were not. They were doing castings. Like, for example, they would get along with these friends, and I'm going to get to that point. They were getting along with their friends and stuff and do these ceremonial castings. And they did a casting on Tammy, who was Chad's wife. And Chad had been talking about how he thought, he had visions of Tammy passing in a car accident. Like, come on, who would think that? Like, who would want to? It's crazy, you guys. Having visions of his wife passing in a car accident. It was all being planned. He knew she was going to be passing soon because her spirit was dark and foolishness that I can't even, hold on, I'm working. I can't even wrap my head around. Work shit. But in the background, while they're doing these castings and ceremonies with Lori in her home and this whole group of nuts, her brother, Alex, is over where Tammy is at her house and is literally shot at her, but missed. Shot at her, but missed. While Lori, at the same time that Lori is doing the casting, her brother is over trying to murder Tammy in this casting that is supposed to remove this spirit. Do you guys hear how crazy this sounds? Like, I know I'm piecing it from every which way, but like, that's the gist of it. It's mad. It's mad. It makes no sense. It's not going to make sense to the normal functioning human thinking person, but this is what this group of people were doing. And so he missed, right? And so she calls police. She's like, I think it was a BB gun or whatever, not knowing that it was an actual gun. And the whole time she's like, goes about her life and everything. But I think I believe it was like 10 years later, not 10 years later, 10 days later, she passes. A completely healthy woman, like in her 40s, just passes out of nowhere. No autopsy done. Chad was like, just pack it up, move out, like, I'm moving on with my life. Let me get my life insurance money and go to Hawaii and marry Lori. And then in between there, they took care of the kids. And then in between there, because Alex had taken care of Lori's ex-husband, who was very, very concerned about this whole situation, and had told the police that something was going to happen to him and his children, and he was concerned about Lori being crazy and off her rocker. He tried his best to stop this. He really did. There's like body camera footage with him speaking to the police. Alex, her brother, had killed her ex-husband with by shooting him because they got an altercation, and which was completely bogus, and the police just did a shit job of that investigation. And then Alex passes because he was the fall guy, and you don't want your fall guy talking, so all of a sudden he dies. So it's just, I know that it's like roundabout, and if you have never ever dipped your toes into this, you have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. I have done a video on this whole case, a couple of videos down in my, uploads. But now getting to the case, I'm just like, this is fucking crazy. And I have listened to the interviews. Like I said, I'm going to the friends of people who could have stopped this, because her ex-husband really did try to stop it. Other people who could have stopped it were, I feel like, her friends, Melanie Gibb. Melanie effing Gibb. I have listened to her interview, and she very much knew what the fuck was going on, believed it all, was going with the whatever Hulu shit that they were doing, weird whatever stuff that they believed in, and just I believe what you want to believe, but when you're believing in something that you're going to be casting out spirits, and your casting out spirits is actually murdering people, that's foolishness. So listening to Melanie Gibb's interviews, she was very close with Lori. They were good friends. They spoke on the daily. She knew Chad Daybell. They went to these conferences together. They went to temple together. They did these castings together. Melanie was around her kids, and Tylee did not like Melanie. Oh shoot, I'm getting a call. Hold on. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Melanie Gibb. Honestly, she probably had to have gotten immunity. I have to look that up. She probably had to have gotten immunity because this woman knew way too much and was way too close with these people. Way too close. And she knew a lot. And the thing that has always stuck out to me with Melanie Gibb is that, besides the fact that Tylee did not like her, was that Lori and Chad felt comfortable enough with her that they gave the police her name to say that JJ was with her. When the police were like, where the hell are your kids? What's going on? We need you to produce them. They gave the name of Melanie Gibb. Called her up and was like, hey, when the police call, we need you to, say you have JJ, say you like taking him to Frozen, take a picture of some kids and stuff like that. If this woman didn't know what the fuck was going on and what they were doing, why would they feel so comfortable as to come to her and ask that of her? That has never sat right with me. That has never sat right with me. And like in her interview, she's like, oh, after, like, oh yeah, now I can see how that is weird and doesn't make sense. And the whole time you were going along with it. You were involved with it. You were involved with everything. And they felt comfortable enough with you to call you to cover their lies about their children. They literally gave the police your fucking name. Like, how does that not make her an accomplice? How is she not in jail for literally like a neglect of like well-being of children or something, because she knew what the fuck was going on. She knew that Lori had been complaining about JJ being like this zombie, saying that he was like crawling around the walls and shit like in a scary fucking movie, insane shit. She knew that Tylee didn't like her and that there was tension with her and Lori, her and her daughter. She knew everything. And they came and they fucking called her phone and told the police her name and said, you need to say you had JJ and act like he's at Frozen and take some pictures of some kids. And the whole thing is, I learned, even in this case, listening to her, when she testified, she actually, that first time she talked to the police, she said that she had JJ, but that he had left. So she lied. She did end up lying on their behalf. And then only until he got too shaky did she come out with the fucking truth. But initially, she fucking lied for them. Are you kidding me? How is this woman not behind bars? How is she not on some type of probation? She's clearly a nut. She was all up in that shit. Another one who I feel like could have stopped it is Lori's niece. I think her name is Melanie Boudreaux. And another one I feel like could have stopped it, but I don't put too much blame on it. I think she's something a little is just not right with her, is Zulema, who ended up marrying Alex Cox, who was Lori's brother, and they did like this weird planned marriage thing with them. There's so many people who could have stopped this. There was one guy who was trying to stop it, Lori's ex-husband, and they took him out. And the police, I feel like, dealing with the situation with the ex-husband and Lori's brother and how that went down was so poorly handled. If you have watched the police, interrogations or their body cam footage, which I am so grateful that is like a thing now, that there is body cam footage on these people, so we know exactly what was said, what was happening. Like that body cam footage for the Chris Watts situation, Shanann Watts, I don't know how many times I've watched that, but just amazing stuff, because you're watching these people in the moment of these ridiculous, insane things that are happening in their lives, and you're watching these people just combust in front of your face. It's so interesting, it's so sad, and it's so tragic at the same time. And maybe that's why we're like so desensitized, because we see all this stuff all the time and we have the access to it. But I just feel like this could have been stopped in so many ways, and Chad and Lori are exactly where the hell that they're supposed to be, behind fucking bars. And listening to Colby, who is Lori's remaining child, listening to Colby's phone call to his mother, because they played that in court when he was testifying. Listening to the phone call and hearing that crazy woman laugh on the phone as he is begging and crying to her about what the fuck is going on. What did you do? Are you really thinking that all that you did was for God, for the word of God? And he's trying to get through to her, and she's just like, not there. And in that sense, I'm like, is something wrong with her up here? But no, she knew what the fuck she was doing. She knew exactly what the fuck she was doing, and she's behind bars, and she needs to stay behind bars. And obviously she's going to stay behind bars. But I just, when the whole thing started and they were just so aloof about where their fucking kids were, and I remember Nate Eaton being on groundbreaking, he's a reporter, groundbreaking, he found them in Hawaii when they were supposed to have been reporting their children to the police, because their grandparents, JJ's grandparents, Kay, had, put in a wellness check. And so the police are like, where are your kids? Turn in your kids. Show us you have your kids. All of this will fucking stop. Where are the kids? They're in fucking Hawaii, just walking along. No kids in sight. They went to their apartments, no kids stuff, no nothing. And Nate is asking them, where are your kids? Do you have any thoughts? And they're just like, no concern in the world, no concern in the world. The look on her face, y'all, I'm telling you, if you have not dipped your toe into this, Please do. We've got some weird ass shit going on in the States, man. I'm telling you, like, it's always some shit. It is always some shit. Like, oh my god. But hold on. Yeah, so it's a very sad, tragic situation because 2 lives were taken prematurely for no reason, for something that makes no sense, based off of some made up religion by a guy who wanted to be so much more than what he was, and by a woman who wanted to be this exalted high priestess, whatever, that this man made her feel that she was, and completely brainwashed her. I mean, I think she was already there, but meeting Chad just like tipped her over and just gave her all the right to just spiral and go crazy and destroy lives, destroy her family's lives. And you have grandparents who don't have their grandchildren. You've got a son who doesn't have either of his parents. Like, just the way that she manipulated and lied through her teeth, like watching her in interviews with the police, and how they were just so overcome that she was just like, this woman, like, oh, my husband is just messing with me because we're divorced, and like, this is just like, no, he was wanting her to get committed. He wanted her to get a mental evaluation, which she ended up doing. She passed it because she lied her ass off. And they were able to manipulate the police at that time in such a manner that I don't think, quite honestly, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I don't think someone like me would be able to do that if I were to come into the police. It just wouldn't go down like that. It just would not, and I know that for a fact. It would not go down like that. The whole thing with Lori's husband and her brother Alex, with that altercation and how he passed. Alex said that Lori's husband, ex-husband, hit him with a baseball bat. Okay, like in the back of the head, and he was in self-defense. That's why he shot him. But when you see the police body cam footage, because there is body cam footage, you can watch it, and you also see Lori, who was there, like, and Tylee, like, you see all of this happening. It's so crazy. None of their reactions are normal. If you have gotten hit in the back of your head by a grown-ass man with a baseball bat, you're going to have more than just a little cut at the back of your head. Your shit's gonna be fucked back here, okay? But the police let that shit go. Lori's popping up, hi, what's going on? Smiling and everything, as she's finding out that her husband, well, not finding out, because she knew that he was shot, and then left, took JJ to go get breakfast and take him to school, came back and was like, hey, what's going on, you guys? Walking up to the police like, not a tear, not looking nervous, not looking distraught, so many suspicious things that nobody picked up on at that time. Even though Lori's husband said that he feared for his life, that he feared, like, you know, something like this was going to happen. Because she had said something was going to happen to him. It's insane. It's insane what some people are allowed to just get away with. Like, I don't understand. I feel so bad for these children. I could not imagine being in the situation and, like, realizing at this moment, this is what these people who are supposed to love me are about to do to me right now. I can't, like, when I think about it down to, like, that grandeur, like, when I think down to it's a lot. It's a lot, you guys. So if you are interested in the Lori and Chad Daybell trial, I say it's happening right now. A lot of channels are streaming it, and full audio of the trial and everything. I haven't seen anything where, you know, like the Johnny Depp trial where, like, the cameras are there, but it's like full audio, so I can kind of just sit there and listen to it as I work. But y'all, it's so crazy, and I'm just like, wow, this is the world that we're in. But to get over on a little bit of a lighter note for something else that came across my timeline is randomly, Verizon, the cell phone company, I have Verizon, still have Verizon, trying to get out of Verizon because they're too damn expensive, but Verizon decided to be petty out of fucking nowhere, and I'm like, what? And of course they deleted it. Like, you can't be petty and stand on your fucking word. They like want to be petty and delete shit. But someone tweeted at Verizon support saying, "Oh my god, at Verizon support, you guys are killing me this past week. Twice now, the STB is shitting the bed and destroying my shows. The issue got fixed with my outage, but the equipment is dying. Help." Okay. So then Verizon being shady out of nowhere, which, you know, I don't care, but it's just like, what? They say, "Thanks for reaching out to us today. I am so sorry to hear that your setup box has gone full Amber Heard, but we are here to assist you. Just send us a DM so we can get more information." Okay. I mean, y'all, what the hell? I don't even fucking know. Like, I just find it to be so petty. I hate that they deleted it, but it's just like, damn, girl. Now you got Verizon shading the fuck out of you. There's no coming back for this girl. There's no coming back for Amber, and I think that's exactly where she needs to be. Exactly where she needs to be. So something else that came across my timeline that is most disgusting is this caricature that was posted by the Wonton Witch, okay? And I'm just seeing it, and it says, "Today's game of caption, this," and it's an image, and it says, "Courtesy of," and that's the creator of this image, that is highly, highly, highly racist. I'm gonna show it very briefly, but yeah. Like, come the fuck on. Come the actual fuck on. I don't even have words. I don't even have the vocabulary, the vernacular. I don't have the words to describe how many things are wrong with that image. I mean, it's blatant racism. It's blatantly made to be offensive and to hurt somebody. And I think this is the shit that Meghan and Harry are talking about. And people are literally showing their fucking asses over somebody with whom they deem worthy to be hated because they have all these questions about her. At the end of the day, a lot of people do shit that does not make sense. A lot of people will lie and do this that I'm not saying it's fucking right. There's some shit with Meghan and Harry, and Meghan in particular, that doesn't make sense, that I have questions about. But it's like, whatever. It's surface fucking shit. It's not harming my life, you know? God damn, it's like after 4. Why am I still getting all these emails? Hold on. I just don't understand why someone would take the time and their talent to be artistic and create something that is so unnecessary to put out into society and so harmful and so offensive. What is the point? Having Harry dressed with his hat backwards and baggy clothes and like all these chains and shit and doing like gang stuff. Having Meghan in this cheetah bra with a fucking needle sticking out of her arm with big old, like, it's the caricature of, like, that's what caricature is, I guess, but they're doing it in a way that is so offensive. And looking at this, if I were Meghan, if I were Harry, I would be like, and this is why. And this is fucking why. Because, and I'm so happy that she's not showing her face. I want her to stay behind closed doors, don't say a fucking thing. But, you know, on this other hand, it's sad that she has to do that to get people off her fucking back. And now that people have gotten off her back because they don't have shit to say because she's not going to the coronation, she's not having herself seen, they're trying to flip on Kate. It's crazy how the British media works. Like, I know here in the States we have like our tabloids and everything like that, and our paparazzi, and they can be ruthless and, you know, make up stories and everything like that. But I feel like kind of with the British media, like, they will get on somebody and stay on them, like the Daily Mail having the British Daily Mail having a whole tab for the royals, and then like little individual tabs of every individual. Like, it's a lot. It's a fucking lot. And I know that she married into this, and she kind of had to expect, obviously, she was going to be a hot topic given who she is and this, that, and the other. But I definitely don't think they expected this. This in 2023 with the little babies with the hair and shooting guns and like shit like this in 2023. I don't think. And they like added this person, like this person has put their name on this shit. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I think this is why Meghan and Harry are doing what it is that they're doing. Like, hate them, love them, whatever. I kind of fucking understand. I really do, because this is just, it's sad. And I hope they did not have to see that image, because what the fuck?